had to hold it down for the love. She the type of woman make you wanna leave the drugs. Not the type of nigga that'll really do the club. Plenty water, double cup, baby, let me know what's up.
That's it. So yeah, it's mostly it's websites, some e-commerce. I work a lot for the fashion industry in France, and I work for Cézanne with ready-to-wear brands, especially for women. And I work a lot for luxury brands like Chanel and Louis Vuitton. So it's cool because I work for the fashion industry, but sometimes they call me to make different projects, not only e-commerce or like really corporate website. For Chanel, it was a video game in Japan. For Louis Vuitton, it was a watch interface. So it's really
it's
cool.
all digital.
It's digital.
So
yeah.
it's nothing to do with the actual fashion itself.
Yeah.
But that's cool, right?
Yeah.
To interpret in a new way. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. So that is one of your latest projects.
Yeah,
or-
this is all, yeah.
Awesome. And do you also have one project from your past,
Yeah, I can show you the
from your early beginnings?
Yeah, the first one. This is the first one I've made in 2004 when I was a student in Lyon, and I think it was the first time I make a project with Adobe products, and the first time I would say, okay, now I want to be a designer. I know it's exactly what I want to do, so I try to code a little bit with Macromedia, Dreamweaver, and so yeah, it was in the past.
So it's HTML?
Yeah, it's HTML, and so it was. I'm a hip hop fan. So it's a hip-hop fan website to show all the hip-hop artists in my hometown. So it's fun.
But that's a great example. I mean, based on that and what you showed us just before, you can tell us a little bit what has changed the past years in digital design and web design.
Yeah, I think it's...
Do you still play around in Dreamweaver?
No, it's finished. No, now I'm working with some really good developers.
Yeah.
And so I think to make that kind of project, we need good developers, and I'm not good enough. But no, it's. I think in our job, we have to prototype a lot and to try all the time. So that's why I learn a bit the code, just to start just playing with code and know if what I've done with the design is good or not. But now I try to make. I work a lot with After Effects, and I make a lot of video, but I don't code anymore.
Okay. Are you doing prototypes now? Is that part of your job compared to back then?
Yeah.
So that's a big change, isn't it? I mean, it's so much faster.
Yeah, and the web changed a lot. When I started with still Flash. Unfortunately, Flash is over.
Yeah.
So the project was really different, and I think if you look at the 10 years web design trends, 10 years ago it was Flash, and people create like amazing experience.
Yeah.
And after there's a minimalist trend, so no more animation, nothing. And now we are back like with a lot of animation with a lot of WebGL and stuff like this. So it's really cool. For me, it looks like Flash, but we have to wait. But I think we are going to make some really cool websites in a few years.
Was there one project from your summary of the latest project that was the one that changed the era? Like one where you changed the way you work, like compared to like this HTML website, where you said,
for me, the last project I've done, it was on Flash. It was for Ed Banger, who is a music label in France. The guy who just launched Daft Punk and Justice, and we made two websites for the label. We worked a lot with sound designer, animator, flash coder, and the website was full of animation. It was 10 years of memories, so a lot of objects, etc. It was really, really cool.
Amazing. We have two questions in the chat actually. Alan is asking, how do I become a creative director?
Good question. No, first I think...
you send your CV?
Yeah, first I think we need, in this job there is a lot of steps, and I start like as an intern, and I think it's good to start on the bottom and to work a lot. I think the only rules in this job is work a lot. To learn, try a lot of software, try a lot of different style, and to progress. And after you can move in different studio or start a freelancer. I think it's a bad idea to start directly after studying as a freelancer, because you need to learn. We learn a lot when we are in this industry. When you work for advertising agency, when you work for a studio, you learn a lot. So it's really good to go first in an agency, and after
in all different departments, learn everything, try out everything.
Yeah, because it's
gather
really,
much experience as you can possibly
it's so different.
can.
When now I'm working a bit for the US, and it's so different than the French mentality. And when you work for a French agency, it's really different than when you work for just a studio.
What's the biggest difference between American company and French agency?
You make a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
You like to talk a lot.
In the American company?
Yeah.
Okay.
In France, generally the project is really short. We have only like 2 months to make everything. Americans take time. And you like to talk a lot. It's good. It's
Watch
good for
a movie.
it's good for creativity. But yeah, it's the biggest difference.
I see. We have another question from Angelique. What kind of skills do you need to become a creative director? Yeah, all of them. I think that's what you answered already, right? Yeah. Try every department. Try to gather as many skills as possible, so you're able to direct everyone.
Yeah. And don't forget, like, what is important. I think it's a good project. It can be a website. It could be a video or just print stuff. It's when you work with a team, and only. I think we cannot do this job if you want to work alone. It's not possible because you need to find some good developers. It's really important. Good producer, good clients, good sound designer, good typographer, good copywriter. It's really important. So I think it's a mix of talents.
I see. And coming back to your fashion clients, did you get straight into those clients, or did you start with a completely different industry?
At the beginning, when I was a designer at Anonymous, we worked mostly for the French agencies, and it was not only the fashion. No.
What else did you have on the table?
We worked a lot for some biggest industry and for the car also, some French brands, and we work for the music also. I work for Kylie Minogue, for example. We make a cool website for Kylie Minogue. Passing the,
cool.
It was funny. And I met Kylie Minogue, so.
You met her?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us more. That's what we want to hear.
It's my secret. It was like 10 seconds, and she's professional. She come in front of the camera and she do her job, and after she leaves.
Okay, I see. So she didn't tell you, I want this and that on my website?
Nothing.
She has managers for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucky girl.
Yeah. But I was in the same room with Kylie Minogue, so...
At least you breathe in the same air.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. And how would you say, how far... Thanks, Rufus. Of course we can. Thank you, Rufus.
Yeah?
Great.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, we're live, and Rufus has just some special requests to hang out a bit longer here, but yeah, we're happy to do that.
If you have more questions.
Yeah, if you have any more questions. Do we have more questions here? I was about to ask one, but let's check the chat. Margie is asking, what do you enjoy most about your job?
It's challenge.
Challenge.
Yeah, that's why I work a lot for the fashion industry, and now I'm trying to make different projects. But I really like when you work for a brand, you know nothing about that kind of product. You know nothing about the brand, and you really try to understand the clients and to make a really good product at the end. So.
That would have been my follow-up question. What would you say is the biggest difference between the fashion clients that you had and, for example, Kylie Minogue or the cars? It's a completely different thing, but all of them are kind of a product.
Yeah, honestly, it's quite this. It's different because we don't use the same style for the design. But a client is a client, so you need to understand exactly, because sometimes it's a bit hard. Because as a designer or with my developer teams, sometimes for us is sorry. No. So sometimes we use a lot of technical words, stuff like this, and for us it's like normal to use this one, or some effect is normal, and the client don't know nothing about this. So yeah, you have to understand exactly what we are going to do for the project.
I see. Do you have a specific fashion project that you could explain us a little bit more? That would be interesting to see.
Because now we have time.
Now we have all the time in the world.
You have a glass of water, please?
Of course, we have a glass of water.
Thank you.
We have a glass of water, still or sparkling?
Still, please.
And we have waffles. So
Yeah.
here, your breakfast.
Okay, breakfast.
Bon appétit.
Merci.
Yeah, we're having breakfast here now because we have time. Until 11:30 we will be live with Martin.
With a little break at 10:55.
Okay.
Break from 10:55 to 11, and then you start again.
Okay. With a little break at 10:55 and then we start again. Oton Rufus.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, this project is for Drôle de Monsieur. It's a French brand based in France.
Cool.
And
I can see the ocean.
yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. No, it was really funny to work for this guy. So they called me at the beginning. We have like a really basic website, and we are only focused on fashion products and not really on digital. And so it was really funny to do this website because they wanted e-commerce, but they wanted a commerce like different, and with some we are okay to put some animation on the website. So we did
So the animation is in the top already. So when you
Yeah, the
hover the
idea is
mouse, you
because when you arrive on the website, they wanted to show the collection, and they wanted to put the mood board of the
Okay.
collection to understand exactly what you are going to see. So we find this effect when we put like a lot of images you can find on the mood board of the creative director when he just designed the product. So I made this project with Kevin Chassagne, who's a French developer. He's a really
so
good
how
developer.
did you code that? What language is that in?
It's HTML.
This
Yeah,
one? With
yeah.
all the flipping images.
And you can, if you have time, you can go live to see the project. But it was really cool to do this project, and you can see the.
Did you also do the whole back of the whole logic of the website, like organizing it
Yeah,
with the hierarchy and
Yeah.
stuff? So you started with that UX part
Yeah.
side of
Yeah.
things, yeah.
yeah.
Did you do wireframes before you got
No,
into
no.
visual? You
No.
jumped straight into visual design.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your usual process? What do you start with when you meet your client? Do they come to you, or do you reach out to them and say,
No,
"Hey,
yeah.
I saw your website. It's not
Yeah,
that
it's-
great. I can do better."
No. Usually they send me a message and say, okay, I see your project for that kind of blah 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 blah, and I want to work with you. And first we make a first interview just to understand exactly what they have in mind and what they want to do with the brand. And after we work as a mood board to get some inspiration. Say, okay, I think this is really cool for your brand. We can do that. It can be a website, but it can be also like. If the lookbook is for me, it's really it's terrible. I can show some inspiration and say, okay, for the picture, perhaps we can do something like this. Is better, blah blah blah. And we spend a lot of time. And after directly, I go on Photoshop and I start designing. And because yesterday.
So you do your designs in Photoshop
Yeah.
entirely.
And yesterday, Andy from Active Theory, I have to tell about the process of the Active Theory studio, and it was exactly the same. No wireframing. Directly, they start working on C4D and on Photoshop, and after they're thinking about the user experience, and I think we can do both. Because I'm not working for really big website with tons of pages. It's small websites, usually. E-commerce is like quite a small website. So I think we don't need wireframing all the time.
Okay. And do you also, like you said, Photoshop, is that your preferred program of choice that you use all the time for
Yeah.
everything, or are there others
Yeah,
just
I know.
on the side? We have a new thing called XD.
Sorry, no.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, one time. No, I prefer
Well-
Photoshop.
And why is that?
I prefer Photoshop.
Yeah,
no, because
but
I'm more
what
free in
tools are
Photoshop.
you missing in XD when you opened it that brought you back to Photoshop?
It's not just tools. It's I feel comfortable on Photoshop. I start working on Photoshop since the beginning. So I try Sketch, for example, and I feel uncomfortable. It's really
Okay.
hard for me. I don't want to think about the tools I use. I prefer keep focus on the design. So I don't really care about
I
if I'm.
understand.
So for me,
Sure.
Photoshop is okay. But I know all the developers ask me like, can you stop Photoshop? Can you use the new one? It's better for us to share the project. Blah 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 blah. And I
definitely agree. You should use what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But the question is, once you have done your design in Photoshop, do you require interactive prototypes? Would it make sense? Because you can open Photoshop files in XD and you can just
I know.
Connect them,
connect
the artboards with each other. And
usually I go on After Effects and I make some.
you do prototyping on After Effects? That's interesting to know.
We don't do all the website because it takes so long. We make all the animation transition, some call to action and stuff like this.
Interesting to hear.
Maybe because
everybody works different, so it's always
that's why I put a lot of on Dribble, so you can watch my Dribble and find all my projects, because
good to know.
It's really important for the client to understand. When you say, okay, we are going, for example, for Drôle de Monsieur, the guys are working on the fashion industry, they know nothing about digital. When I say, okay, we are going something on the homepage with your cursor mouse, when you move the cursor, you have all the image of the collection. The guys say, okay, I don't understand nothing. Okay, I'm going to show you a video. It's better.
We have another question here in the chat. What hourly rate would you recommend beginners to calculate to their clients or work on a project basis price? From Marcel. Well, Marcel, it depends where in the world you're based. I would say.
Alors, for the hourly rate,
I mean, there are websites where you can look up the average rate, right?
Yeah.
Because it always depends on in which country you are, where you're based, which city you are.
Yeah.
Probably if you're somewhere in a village in the mountains of
and also
Austria.
And I'm out of there. No, also if you are based in Paris or New York, it's not the same rate because the life is not the same cost. So
exactly.
I think there is no good answer.
So so maybe not the best question to ask to Martin.
Sorry.
Do we have anything more? No, not so far. He says in Holland. So here, basically.
Yeah, I'm based in Amsterdam since 7 months now.
Yeah. So, but he's asking for the hourly rate in the Netherlands.
It's.
Best is to check that out on websites. You can. I think even LinkedIn has this diagram by now where you can check out things. But definitely. We have another question from Carlos. Which pages do you think are better to conversion clean websites, like not so much combined with design or other full of colors and text?
I think it depends on the client. For example, for Drôle de Monsieur, I think the clients are quite young and they are used to social media, they are used to video, used to animation, and they really appreciate the website because they feel like really comfortable. Say, okay, there's a lot of animation and I like the brand. It's because sometimes we do so much minimalistic website, and at the end, all the websites are quite the same, and it's really hard for a brand to just show, okay, we are a young brand, but we have a lot of inspiration, a lot of creativity. So,
but usually you have more freedom with the younger clients than the big enterprises and older generation, definitely.
Yeah.
Shall we get back to your project? That was
we can just
quite nice to see. So how many, I would like to know from that website that you just showed us, from the other tab, I would like to know how many iterations, so if you said you don't do wireframing beforehand, so how many iterations did you do in terms of design, or how many drafts of different designs did you have at the beginning?
Usually,
and how did you narrow it
when
down?
I was at school as a student, I learned like, okay, you are going to make 3 ID, share to the client. This is not my reality. This is not, I think, the reality. That's why I make a mood board, just to share my ID and what I think is good for the brand. And after we make only 1 ID, and after we just arrange the design to be sure everything is perfect. But if you see the first mock-up, it's not far away from this. We change a bit the navigation, we add some new function, some new pages, stuff like this. But it's quite.
So that's how much you're already into the industry, that you just do 1 draft and that's almost it.
I think it's better. I think it's better.
All right. And the images and all this stuff was provided by the client. So did you get that before you started design or after?
It depends. Sometimes it's after.
Isn't it difficult when you get it after and you have your design already and then you get funny images and they don't match your design?
Yeah, it's happened. And for
so how do you handle this?
For e-commerce, it's okay. But when I was working at Anonymous, we made like a lot of experience with video, and sometimes we make the full website and we don't have nothing, and we don't know how looks the movie, and we get the movie like 2 days before the release of the website. So it's super strange. At the beginning, it was terrible. You make a mock-up and everything, like the background is black, and you say, okay, I have to think that there's going to be a video there, but I don't know exactly what is the video. So a bit strange. But sometimes you have some good surprise, and sometimes it's terrible, and it's happened. And when it's terrible, you ask your client, okay, can we make an effort? In fact, perhaps we can make a new photo shoot.
Or maybe a learning for the future to ask for the images up front before you
usually
even start to design.
They try to make the same picture as the one you use on the mock-up.
Makes sense. Any more questions from the chat? Yeah, we have Margie asking, where do you get most of your inspiration from?
On Behance, for example.
Behance?
Yeah, Behance, Twitter, and Dribble. But a lot of Behance, I think Behance do a great job.
You also have a profile there?
Yeah.
Do you want to show it to us?
Yeah.
So we can let the community know whom to follow.
This is my portfolio on Behance. You can find my latest project. I don't put everything, but I put a lot of projects. So
these are also your fashion projects?
Yeah, this is for a friend who is a painter. I really like this job.
Okay.
And this is for Typology. It's a skincare brand based in Paris, and I just made e-commerce.
That looks cool. Can we see it in detail? So you did an app and a website, or is it a responsive?
It's a responsive website.
How do you deal with responsiveness in Photoshop? Sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. I also worked in Photoshop before, so I know how it is. But you have your 3 files, right? With all the different sizes. So you have one example for mobile, you have one size for a standard tablet, and you have one size for your desktop. And then you do 3 different designs, and then you copy and paste the layers over, right? Yeah. And it's quite
I know it's also, but I feel comfortable.
Just mentioning on the side, there's a responsive resize.
Yeah, I know.
It helps a lot. I mean, sometimes it really helps. Do you start with the mobile design or with the web layout?
Yeah, web layout.
Web layout.
I'm the opposite of yesterday.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I start with mobile.
Yeah, I know. A girl from Google was on stage yesterday and talked about mobile and how it's really important to start with the mobile design. I think the opposite, actually. I prefer.
Why is that?
For me, the mobile is a simple version of the desktop version. So in my head, I prefer first create the desktop experience, which sometimes with animation and blah, blah, and it's easier for me after to remove animation and to make something more